Hey everybody, Chris here. What is my lighting doing? Hope everybody's having an awesome Thursday evening. I am coming to you live again tonight. Super excited to do that. I hope that everyone has had a great week so far. Cannot believe tomorrow's Friday. I am so ecstatic. Finally, I have been waiting for the weekend to get here. It has been the longest week ever. Hey Sherry, hey girl, hey Tara, hey pretty lady, how are you, love? Thanks for tuning in, honey, I appreciate it. Good to see y'all. Hey Damaris, how are you? Hope everybody's doing awesome. Hey Megan. Oh yay, all these familiar faces. So happy to see everybody. I could say hey all night. I could just stand here all night and say hey, but I'm super excited to talk to y'all tonight before I get started. Those of you that don't know me, my name is Chris, and I am a wife, and I am a mom. Glad you caught me too, Courtney. Hey girl. Hey Holly, happy Friday Eve to you, babe. And so, wife and a mom, and I am super passionate about just living a low maintenance lifestyle, just so that I have more time and energy to do the things that I love with my family and for myself. So I love coming on and sharing some of these tips, and some of them might be related to cooking, and some might be related to other, things in life that typically take us more time and energy, and they don't have to. So tonight it is 3 tips to avoid overeating. Again, before I get started, I see all these awesome faces on here. If you're catching me live, will you let me know and drop a live and let me know where you're tuning in from? I always love to see where everybody is and where we're all connecting from. It's always so cool to see where everyone is watching from. If you're catching me on a replay, let me know that too, and just say replay in the comments, and I love to go back later and just see if I missed anybody, or if anyone had any questions or any comments to add. So, holla, hey Jen, I just texted you. Did you get my text, babe? So, anyhow, onward, so excited. Quick question before I start. Do not answer, because I know there's those people that love to just spit out the answer, because a lot of you probably know this, but do not answer. And I posted something related to this today about servings. What do you think you know? Do you think you know what is an appropriate serving of food? What that visually looks like? Not measurement, not size, nothing, just visually what it should look like. Don't answer. But if you know the answer, let me know by just giving me some likes or some hearts, but don't give the answer. What a serving of food should look like on your plate, as far as the bulk of your calories, probably your protein. Your meat is going to be the bulk of your calories in your meal. Typically, if you're eating, at dinner, a protein and a vegetable, you're not typically eating a big bowl of pasta at dinner. Although I'm wearing, can y'all see this? My shirt? Oh, it's backwards. It says andiamo. That means let's go in Italian. I thought it was so appropriate because those that know me know this, those that don't, do not, that I grew up in an Italian household. My parents immigrated here from Italy. They could not speak the language. Literally, I learned English in preschool. So English was really my second language. So I am bilingual, but I grew up in an Italian household. Parents were born and raised in Rome, Italy. So it was a bit of a culture shock for them here when it came to food. So it's something that we talk about a lot. Still, it's something we sit down and talk about is food. We all know Italians love food, but there is a stigma with Italians and food because a true, authentic Italian actually eats Mediterranean, basically. Very fresh, small portions, which is what we're talking about, and just simple with few ingredients, which is why that's such a big part of my life and why I talk about that so much. It's truly how I was raised and how I grew up. So back to the portions. Basically a portion of chicken, beef, or fish, your protein should be about the size of the palm of your hand. You've probably heard that before, which is really not a lot on your plate. And then the rest of your plate should be lovely vegetables, especially at dinner. If you're a starch person, you like to have a little rice on the side, then a portion should be maybe half the palm. okay, half to 3/4. That's not a lot. So visually, our portions are super duper. Italians equals lots of food, or is it a myth? Myth, Sherry. Myth. Italians truly eat in season, fresh, whatever's available. You walk into a restaurant, a local authentic restaurant in Italy, and the chef literally will come out and say, this is what the fisherman caught today, and this is the chicken I've gotten. These are the vegetables that are in season. What would you like? Truly, unless you go into a very touristy restaurant, that is how food is prepared. So that is the culture. And so this was a culture shock, obviously, to my parents when they came here, when not everyone, I'm not saying all Americans are this way. I grew up here, so I can also say what I've seen, and I have lived in Italy for part of my life, and so I have lived both. A big thing is, you go out to eat in a restaurant, and it's the first thing you hear about is, if you get the entree and 2 appetizers tonight, you get dessert for free, right? Everything's about like biggest bang for your buck. Well, that's kind of scary. I don't want the biggest bang for my buck when I go eat. When I take my kids to the movie theater, it's, can I just get one of those small little drinks for my daughters? Well, they have to get like the combo if they want that. Like literally they can't ring it up any other way. You know what I mean? I'm like, but we don't want the combo. They just want this item and they want a small drink. We can't do that. They have to get the regular small. And so you get the regular small, adult small, and it's like the size of my head. That's the small. And so, okay, we'll get the small. That's fine. They can split that. Then it's for 50 cents more, you can get a large with unlimited refills. Again, it's just like this whole like mentality of just biggest bang for your buck, and that's not always the best thing. Just because you're getting more for less, it doesn't mean it's the best thing. So, rant over on that, but back to just portion sizes, which is what that's all really about. It's just more and more and more. Okay, tip number 1. Got my notes here, y'all, even though I know this, but I'm talking to you live, so I have to be organized. Use a dessert plate when you fix your meal at home. Your typical entree plate is pretty big. You can fit a lot of food on that plate, and you typically will overeat if you go to fill that entire plate. 1, because it's there, it's in front of you, you're hungry, maybe you haven't eaten in 8 hours, and mama's hungry, you just want to eat everything on that plate. 2, you may have heard this before, it is absolutely true, that it takes about 20 minutes for your stomach to send that signal to your brain. It's full, it's satiated, it's had enough, okay? Well, when you sit down, typically you're in a hurry, you've got the kids, you have to get somebody to practice, you're gonna eat fast, you're probably gonna eat in less than 20 minutes, and you're going to, guess what? You're gonna overeat, right? You don't like this subject? I love talking about food. We're just talking about food, look at it that way. Hey, Courtney. So, anyhow, but if you use a dessert plate, y'all, we eat with our eyes first. That is why, people who go to culinary school, it's one of the biggest things they learn about food preparation is what it looks like. The colors, the presentation, the pattern, the way it's put on the plate. Am I right? So why not be that way in your everyday life? So you eat with your eyes first. You feast with your eyes first. Put it on a dessert plate. You're going to put a lot less food on your plate. Take your time. Don't eat alone. Sit at a table especially if you're home alone eating. Don't sit maybe in front of the television and eat mindlessly. Eat somewhere where you're going to be very conscious in the moment and eating your meal. You're going to eat less that way. Take your time. Like I said, you've got those 20 minutes. And that's it. So, dessert plate. Tip number 1. Okay. Tip number 2. Eat foods packed with soluble fiber. Okay? So, for example, oats, whole grains, if you're not a grain person, sweet potatoes, vegetables, these are all very high in soluble fiber. Soluble fiber does a lot of things. Lowers your cholesterol, keeps you regular. It helps your body cleanse itself of impurities, helps with belly bloat, and last, it keeps you full longer, especially if you're drinking a lot of water. It just expands in your stomach. It takes your body longer to break it down and digest it. It's going to curb that appetite. You're going to eat less. So soluble fiber is another one. To piggyback on that is my third tip, water, drinking a lot of water. I'm not saying replace your calories with water, but more often than not, when you're hungry, it's often your body is dehydrated. Most people do not get anywhere near the water that their body needs in a given day, especially if you're a coffee drinker like I am, even more so. So water is the big one. If you feel hungry and maybe you just ate like an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, and you feel like you probably shouldn't be hungry at this point, sometimes it's mindless boredom. Our kids do that. You know, I'm hungry and you just ate 20 minutes ago. Drink a glass of water and see how you feel 10 minutes later. So that is another tip as well. And drinking a glass of water before a meal. You're speaking my language. Drinking a glass of water before a meal also, maybe 10 minutes or so before your meal, will also help you feel a little more full going into your meal. Again, you'll eat less, you won't overeat. Okay, so those are my three big tips. So going back, number one was to use your dessert plate so you have smaller portions. 2 was soluble fiber, getting more of that in your diet. And number 3 is water. Don't overdrink water, but I guarantee most of us are not drinking enough water. Am I right on that? If you agree with me on that, type agree, because let's be real, we do not stop and drink. Unless you are bringing a water bottle with you everywhere you go, you're probably not getting enough water. Okay, and not to mention the skin benefits. I'm sure you've heard that before, you know, drinking a lot of water, and also with that soluble fiber, you are going to cleanse your body of so many impurities and toxins and end up with really beautiful, healthy, youthful skin. So not only are you gonna not overeat, but you're also gonna have healthy, beautiful skin. I've got lots of awesome questions here. Is the having to take a deep breath? Oh, I missed it. My comments are going too fast. I'm gonna scroll back through after and get to every single question. I promise y'all. But I do take deep breaths in between sentences if that's what you just said. Water bottle is always by my side. Favorite drink? Totally, Susan. Me too. And you know, if you just don't dig water, then put a little lemon in there and some lime or some strawberries and flavor your water. Avoid all those gross flavored waters out there. They're chemical poop storms, basically. So avoid those like the plague. But healthy, radiant skin, flushing our bodies with all these healthy nutrients, soluble fiber and water, and our skin cells literally will turn over, and this is how you attain your healthy, vibrant, young skin. So, you know, truly, if that is something that's really important to you, you should also be thinking about what you're putting on your skin, not just what you're eating. Yes, you are what you eat. You look like what you eat. Your skin definitely shows what you eat, but also what you're putting on. Yeah, chemical poop storms. I could have said something else. But what you put on your skin is just as important. And to me, it's also really, really important. So, but if you agree with me on that, I have something that I have personally been using for several months, and I love it so much. But if you want to hear more about that, please let me know and just drop more info in the comments, and I'm happy to share that with you, or you could send me a private message as well if you have any questions. And that's it. Those are my 3 tips, and I sure hope that y'all have an awesome weekend. I know I am ready, and I'm ready for some fall. It is so hot here. I don't know where y'all are tuning in from, but I'm ready for some fall weather and to relax with my family and spend time with my family, because that is the most important thing to me ever, which is why I try to find every way possible to keep my life as simple as possible. And so hopefully y'all agree with me on that, and I hope y'all enjoyed this. So have a fabulous weekend and see y'all soon. Bye. Thanks again.